Hello and welcome back to the Watches and Wonders Late Show. My name is Ariane Alcorta and today I'm joined by Jessica Wang. Those of you who follow her know that she is not only a big fashion influencer on Instagram and TikTok, but you're also a watch collector. And this is your very first time here at this event, am I right?
That's correct. And I'm so excited to be here, and you can feel the excitement and energy in this room.
Right?
Yes.
And let's remember that there are 38 luxury brands exhibiting their new collections this week. So why don't we watch a quick recap of today's biggest highlights?
Let's.
As the snow fell outside Watches and Wonders, visitors at the world's biggest industry fair were further reminded of nature, Earth, and its place in the universe. Watchmakers have long been inspired by the planets, as samples of historic timepieces show at the Salon's Time Design stand. As it rolled out its latest designs, Gerald continued to reflect that legacy.
In fact, for centuries, men have tried to reproduce the exact cycles of the universe and the planets into watches. However, the cycles are precise, but our measurement of time is not exactly matching these cycles. They create special challenge for the watchmakers that need to engineer, perpetual calendars and movements that are correcting these anomalies of time to bring back our time to the cycles of the planets.
This scientific advisor of the brand put our place in the universe into perspective.
So as an astronomer, I use my pitch usually to remind everybody there is plenty of planets, plenty of stars, yes, but there is only one when we can safely live. Is this that one we are in, which is planet Earth? So we should really taking care of our planet.
That message of the need to act and for sustainability rang strong for other brands.
We know that there is a countdown from the global deterioration of the environment. So we put ourselves under pressure to come with new ideas on a regular basis. That's what we do this year by announcing that 75% of our units will be in the future switch from steel to e-steel.
If you look around you here, how many objects will still be potentially working in 400 years? Not many. A watch, a mechanical watch of good quality, yes. Watchmaker, a bit of oil, he regulates it, it should be working. So the message is very strong to younger people because it's a product that will last forever.
Over the next days, live attendees in Geneva and online visitors will certainly witness more of what forever really means and how sustainability is changing brands.
Jessica, and for this first segment, we have brands from all across the world. But first, why don't we immerse into this galaxy world?
Yeah, you could definitely see astronomy plays a big part of the brand.
Yes, the rotation of the Earth and even miniature art is emblematic of this new collection. Let's take a closer look.
Yeah.
The exceptional pieces that we have today is the Atmos Hybris Mechanica caliber 590. We call it the Atmos Tellurium. It's an Atmos, so it's a clock. It's not a wristwatch. It's a clock that we have had since 1928 at Gerald. And it's a clock that lives on air. 1 degree change variation of temperature will wind this clock for 48 hours. And so for the first time, we have associated this clock with a tellurium complication. A tellurium complication is a complication whereby you see the movement of the Earth and the Moon around a sun that is the center of the clock.
And the decoration of the movement, the decoration of the dial is made with a different type of lacquer. The Earth is painted with micro painting rendering. It's a lot of work in our Railcraft atelier.
So Hermes contacted me a year ago to do a piece that would be the whole scenography of the stand here, as well as all the windows on the facade. With this installation, I wanted to explore this idea of time and space and how new technologies such as internet, Google Maps, satellite images can affect our perception of time and space. So where outside with the windows you can control time, here you also let go of time inside of the atrium and be in a meditative space and just reflect in a poetic way about time and space.
Arnaud Chastain, our head of watches for creation and the head of the studio, had in mind to do something exceptional, and he dreamt this diamond tourbillon as it was Gabrielle Chanel's favorite gemstone, and he wanted to gift it to the J12. So it was imagined, dreamt in Paris, developed and made in our manufacture in La Chaux-de-Fonds. As you can see from the watch, it has a lot of intersecting circles, and this is one of our signature. It goes from the tourbillon, obviously, and the rotating diamond, to the bezel, to the intersecting bridges, which is really one of our signature at the back in terms of our first in-house movement, the Caliber 1, which is now reinvented for this tourbillon. And this is our 5th in-house complication, and we are extremely proud of it.
If you're not in Geneva today, you may not be aware of the snowfall today. But this next brand is making us feel the spring vibes all over again. We're entering a garden of gold and stones.
This piece is actually an automaton that's called Fontaine aux Oiseaux. And the idea was to create a unique object that would actually give a new interpretation to the idea of the love parade of the birds of paradise. So here we have like a fountain, which is actually made with a base of wood, completely decorated with lacquer and an integration of eggshell inlay. We see 2 birds that are actually facing each other on the sides of the fountain. And when you run the animation, they start to sing, they start to whistle, and they will progressively look at each other and meet at the center of the fountain, while at the same time a flower has opened and closed on the water and the leaves have started to move until the end of the animation.
We have invented the harmonious oscillator. It's a patented device, and the technology is exceptional because we eliminate immediately the effect of gravity. And comparing to a tourbillon that needs 1 full minute in majority to balance the effect of gravity, with the harmonious oscillator we cancel the effect of gravity in any kind of position. On the other side, all around this harmonious oscillator, there is a superlative finishing with hand guilloché in a degressive pyramid, beveling with inward corners in titanium. All the pieces are decorated by hand, for example, hand engraving, enamel also, and it's quite difficult to realize that.
Type 2 is the only watch that has the technology that we developed called e-crown. And e-crown is basically a technology that replaces, that is automating what you normally do with a crown. It will set the watch for you. It will avoid you to having to wind the watch anymore, because e-crown will detect the fact you are not wearing the watch. And so the watch is not connected to the outside world. It knows it from you. When you set the watch manually the first time, it will register it digitally and will always go back to that time for the time zone you have chosen in that moment. The future of fine watchmaking.
The life of Gerald Genta was honored and remembered at a corner in the time design. He was an emblematic independent watch designer and artist. But what's interesting here is that he started designing in the 70s during the quartz crisis. This was a time when digital watches were gaining protagonism while mechanical watches plummeted. Despite this, he became responsible for some of the best-selling Swiss mechanical watches in history. We spoke today to his wife, and here is what she said.
So here you have a few examples of his unbelievable creativity. You have the model, the Royal Oak, which of course is one of the famous models he designed, but there are so many others, like the Nautilus, the Pasha, and other models. It shows the diversity of Gerald. Gerald could go from complicated perpetual calendars to Mickey watches, to jewelry, to clocks, which you have here, to special pocket watches. So we've tried to show, and we're only touching the tip of the iceberg. I would just like to point out my husband was not a watch designer. He was an artist who designed watches, and it's a completely different world. So you will see here that there are paintings. Gerald liked the total freedom of painting. He loved paintings. And in the drawers, you have how the designs were made. Each design is hand painted. So they're a little works of art of its own.
Jessica, and how do you see the role of social media playing in the watch world today, you know, as a watch collector and an influencer yourself?
Well, I noticed that they came into the game a bit later, but they are bringing it. And I noticed they've been using influencer marketing as part of their strategies, and it's been working wonderfully. And I have a couple partnerships kicking off, and I'm super excited about.
Sounds thrilling indeed. Anything else that has surprised you from this event?
I can't believe they built this massive trade show in under 2 months. Can you believe that?
I can't. It is crazy,
Incredible.
right? So many details in this construction. It looks like a mall, like a city, right?
Yeah.
Now, I know that you have another meeting coming up, so I'm just going to wrap it right there. And for you, we'll see you tomorrow at the same time, same place.
Cheers.